So it's no surprise that we just recorded one of these. We're all wearing the same outfits, and I think Pres Dave mentioned it in the last one. But we're back with another interview with some members of administration. We're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves again. My name is Trevor Johnson. I'm the president of Student Senate.
My name is Madeline Hanks. I'm the secretary.
I'm Elizabeth Schmidt, and I'm the treasurer.
I'm Grace Toon, and I'm the historian.
And joining us again today are some members of administration, and here are they.
I'm Dave McFadden, President. Glad to be here.
I'm Sam Alley, the Director of Student Involvement and Leadership Development and the Student Senate Advisor.
Hi, everybody. I'm Abby Van Valere, the Vice President for Student Life.
So our last interview is more geared toward one subject. This one is not. It's just some other questions that we had gotten from students, and they're just things that they're wondering about and things that they'd like to have some answers to. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the first one. So what is being done over the summer to renovate the residence halls?
Trevor, last summer, students may remember we renovated East Hall extensively, and Garver Hall is on the docket for this summer. It is in the process of being renovated right now. We were able to begin work early because of students going home because of COVID-19. Abby, do you want to talk a little bit about specifics of that renovation?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you saw the furniture that was in East Hall, that same furniture is going to be put in Garver Hall. So if you remember, there were built-ins in Garver before, those big closets and everything. All of that will be gone, and there'll be new furniture there for students. There'll be new tile on the floors, new lights, so it'll be a lot brighter than it was before. Again, very similar to what happened in East Hall this summer is happening in Garver. But again, probably the most noticeable for students, I think, is going to be that furniture. People really seem to like what was in East, and so we're excited to be able to put that in Garver as well.
Thank you. The next question is, there were questions about engagement on campus. What are we doing to have more activities in general and specifically during sports events?
So in terms of engagement on campus, MAC has been working towards the end of the school year and then into the summer a little bit to plan activities for the fall. And then with changes happening, every day with everything, they're planning again to make sure that we can have a lot going on campus. So they're looking at activities every 2 weeks. And then Student Life as a whole has been working to have our activities fill in those off weeks. So we're working together to make sure that we have stuff going on almost every week. We're working really hard to get that out. And then in terms of athletic events, like you said, we've got Gold Rush, which is our student engagement for athletics. They are a group of students who want athletic events to have more events and activities at them. So we're working with them to try and do more during athletic events, during halftime, all of that stuff. But we need students to participate in this, and we need students' ideas. So if we have students, if you're excited and you want this to be happening on campus, we need you to come to Student Life. Let us know that you want to be involved in that so that we can get you involved and make those things happen. We want those to happen, but we can't do it without you.
Giving Day happened recently. What can you tell us about that day and how Manchester plans to gain more donors?
Yeah, we had a great Giving Day this year. It was just Tuesday. Was it yesterday? It seems everything runs together these days. We had a great day. It's part of a national movement that focuses on philanthropy. And so all kinds of organizations across the country hold giving days. And so Manchester is doing that as well. One of the reasons that we're doing that is that the ways in which people give, the things that motivate them to give are changing. So if you participated in any of the Giving Day activities, you'll remember we had a lot of things on social media. And it wasn't just because we have to do everything remotely. We want to reach out to as many of our friends and alumni as we can. So we had really good participation. The goal that we set, two goals. One was to raise $100,000 and the other was to have 280 donors in total. The last numbers that I saw this morning, $235,000. Midway through the afternoon, we set a stretch goal of $160,000. We blew through that, $235,000. We had over 400 donors. We aimed for 280, over 400. And they included graduates, they included current students, they included trustees, people who are friends of the university who aren't connected to us as a student or a grad. We had a woman whose son is at Manchester, and Giving Day fell on her birthday. So she did a fundraiser on like her Facebook page, raised $429 and gave it to Manchester. It was just really, really cool. So for us, it's a way of helping to underwrite our budgets. It all goes to the operating budget. It helps cover things like academic programs, salaries, professional development, travel, and those kinds of things. And so that $230,000+ is going to go a long way toward making things happen next year. So it was really cool.
That's so awesome. Really good to hear. So the next question is for you, Press Dave. You recently put out a video in response to the Black Lives Matter movement. The question is asked, what is Manchester doing for those who are affected by this?
Yeah. Just this evening, before this this conversation that we're having, there was a night of solidarity that was hosted by our Office of Multicultural Affairs and involved close to 100 people from campus and off campus. Some alumni participated, again, friends of the university. So one of the things that I'm really pleased with is that kind of leadership from the middle, folks who say, here's something that needs to be done, let's do this. That wasn't something that was orchestrated by cabinet or management or anything like that. So that's one example. Another one that's kind of in the moment leadership from the middle, we've got faculty on both campuses who are working to organize reading groups around issues of racism and white privilege on both the Fort Wayne campus and the North Manchester campus. Those are the kind of immediate, what can we do in the moment responses that are going on. Longer term, this has been part of our mission for decades, for generations, to work at social justice. And so we continue to do that work. We get better at it as we go. We never get to a place where we can be satisfied. But among the things that we are working on now, the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, Alicia Daly announced tonight, reported tonight that they're working on a strategic plan around diversity, which will be presented to Cabinet, and we will work with them to identify the priorities and resources that are needed there. I know that faculty are working on their curriculum. They're looking at the content of individual courses. How do we make sure that those courses reflect diversity of thought, diversity of experience? How do we make them relevant to issues today? And then longer term, we're looking at questions of how we institutionally can better serve the increasingly diverse student body that we have. I said to colleagues on campus at the beginning of last year, we're not ready for the students that are arriving at Manchester. The diversity of our incoming class has doubled in the last 5 years, almost tripled in the last 5 years. And we need to be better able to serve those students. And so we're identifying ways to do that. An example from the conversation tonight was, how do we make sure we regularly do diversity training for all faculty and staff, right? And so there's some things like that that we will be working on. It's a big challenge. We'll never get there fully, but we have a real commitment to make that a top priority.
Yeah, thank you very much for answering that. I know you just released a video and stuff, but it's nice to have that extra clarity. So unfortunately, our Vice President, Elizabeth Allred, could not be with us tonight. She's actually working, but she wanted to make sure that this question was asked. We've heard that there are changes to Title IX. How is this going to affect students?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm glad that Elizabeth asked it. So I'm sure you've heard some in the news about Title IX, and just an overview for people who don't know about it. Title IX is something that tells us that we're not able to discriminate on the basis of sex or gender. And what that means for schools is that we have guidelines about handling issues that include sexual violence and discrimination and sexual harassment. And those guidelines, although the law doesn't change, the way that we're asked to handle them on campuses changes sometimes from presidential administration to presidential administration. And so those guidelines have changed recently. And we have new things that we need to follow starting in August when you all come back to school. And so our Title IX coordinator is Allie Getchis, and she has been going through some really in-depth trainings about these changes that are happening, and is going to continue to do that and help to train our Title IX team. The main difference, though, is not necessarily something that all students are going to see at the outset. A lot of the changes are with the way that we handle and adjudicate those cases when they happen or if they happen on campus. And so for the large majority of students, there's not necessarily going to be something that you might see or feel in terms of being different for Title IX or for sexual violence or discrimination. We really, we still respond to these issues when they're presented, and we really encourage students to report them when they happen. So I'll remind you all now, take the opportunity to say that there's a report it link in the quick links section of our website. And to use that, you can make reports anonymously, and those go automatically to our Title IX coordinator. So if there are challenges or issues that you face on campus, we want to address those, and we need to continue to address those. That part of Title IX has not changed at all. And so we still work to try to prevent sexual violence or discrimination or sexual harassment on campus. But the new guidelines really tell us a kind of different way to handle and adjudicate those cases.
Yeah, thank you very much for answering that. I know it's something that maybe a lot of people don't necessarily understand. Title IX can be kind of confusing, and just having that broken down a little bit more, I'm sure is going to help a lot. That's all the questions that we actually had. I want to thank anyone who sent in questions. We're just here to be your voice and to kind of bridge this between students and administration. And by you sending us questions allows us to do our job and represent you guys accurately. So just thank you to everyone who sent in questions. Thank you to my fellow eBoard members for being here, and thank you to Pres Dave and Abby and Sam for being able to be here tonight and just answer these questions for us.
Good deal. Thanks much for having us.